Here is Harmonizing, and this is a 16-hand 4-year-old filly by Unified. And this mare last ran on September 20th. So she has had about a month since her last race, and she's been at my place for about a week, maybe a little bit over now. And this is my second ride on her today. Billy is away hauling horses today, so it's just me and my mom. And basically, my goal for her for this ride was to start to understand the contact. I want her to figure out that connecting with me and letting me have some influence over her top line is actually going to make her life better and make her feel better. With the contact, she's just a little bit, I would say, unexposed. She just doesn't understand. It's not that she doesn't like the contact. She literally just has no idea. And it's like I'm asking her to speak a foreign language that she's never heard before. And basically the way this works is in a very empathetic way as the rider, you have to start speaking the language in order for the horse to start to understand it. So similarly to last ride, she was good to get on. She wanted to walk off from the mounting block, which, obviously I would prefer that they stand perfectly still, but actually, she's a little antsy on the ground. So in a perfect world, I still would have probably had Billy standing at her head for me to help her learn to stand still. I would much prefer that they walk off from the mounting block rather than get into a fight with them about standing perfectly still. And then sometimes they'll want to start backing up, which is definitely what I don't want. So I kind of just decided to pick my battles. And when she wanted to walk off, I sort of paused for a moment before I swung over to make sure that the walk didn't feel escalating or tense, which it didn't. So then I swung over. So anyway, there you have it. That was my quick decision making on the spot, which I've probably talked about for way too long now. So anyway, she really likes to, cantering really relaxes her. So similarly to last time, I let her do some cantering for 2 minutes or so at the beginning of the ride, and that really helps her to take a breath, and then she's happy to go slow and settle. Not that she wants to go fast when you first get on, but she's just a little bit tense and a little anxious. So the cantering allows her to move her feet and put her energy in a productive place. And then once you've let her have that moment to canter, she's perfectly content to walk and trot and, do all the things and basically start from where you would want to. Now, it's kind of a fine line. How long do you let them do that for? Do you let them do that for a dozen rides, half a dozen rides, on cold, windy days? I don't know. I don't have the answer. That's everybody's individual feel. This is only my second time sitting on her, and I sort of felt like I was maybe pushing the envelope a little bit because I didn't have Billy here. I was getting on her without any help at the block. So I feel like, for her first handful of rides, it's okay. Ideally, what we really want at some point here in the next, 5, 6, 7 rides is for her to just sort of take a breath and realize like there's actually nothing at all to ever be worried about with our rides. So it's really not necessary to do that. And I think she will. And she's definitely, to me, she's clearly trending in the right direction. So I'm not concerned. And, the other thing is that she has no naughty behavior whatsoever. She's not callback. She doesn't want to prop or porpoise or buck or spin. There's literally nothing like that going on. And could I choose to just like work her through it and insist that we don't canter and walk and trot? Yes, probably. I think we could. And at some point, maybe a half a dozen rides in, that's the path that I take. But right now, just in these first couple of rides, it's sort of crucial that I get her mindset sort of with me and not against me. And so, I don't know, maybe other people, it's fine if you disagree. It's fine if you do something different. This is just, to me, what feels like it's in her best interest to have a productive ride. So anyway, now here we did our canter walk. We took a nice long walk break. And now she's doing some trot work. And it's really in the trot work that I'd like to start leading her down this path of breadcrumbs to the idea that actually connecting with me and sort of softening her jaw and her top line is really in her own best interest, to feel the most comfortable and the most secure. And just to sort of let me be the leader, to let me say, hey, I'm going to take care of everything. You can just follow my lead and you don't have to worry about anything because I'm going to make sure that, I'm looking out for both of us. So you don't need to do that job anymore. And right there, like 5 steps ago, she had this light bulb moment and it was so quick. It's like barely even perceivable on the video. but I felt it and it was pretty exciting. She just gave me like a quarter of a second where she softened and connected with me, and I knew I was in. I knew that okay, she's starting to understand, so I'm going to press a little bit harder here. I'm insisting a little bit more. And then there you go. She starts to get it. And so here she's finding some true softness, and that's pretty darn exciting. So this obviously feels a million times better for her and for me. And so I'm well aware of the fact that, now she's probably getting a little bit tired and she's just had a big breakthrough. So we're just going to keep this up for another minute or 2 minutes and make sure that we fully cemented this idea of softening and connection a little bit. It's like the first breadcrumb, which she does because here she's still giving me some really lovely, few steps at a time. Then she comes up and we have a little conversation and she comes back down. So it's really good. I'm quite thrilled with her. So this is quite good. It's so fun when they give you those moments. I just knew she took this half a step and I just felt like everything clicked up. It's literally for like a quarter of a second, but you can just feel it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm in. I just got my first little wiggle in and I knew that then I could press a little bit